How did Ron DeSantis become the consensus pick to challenge Trump just 4 years after becoming the governor of Florida? Why has that consensus fallen apart so fast? And I think the answer to both starts with COVID. DeSantis adopted this kind of anti-lockdown, anti-mask, anti-restriction approach during the worst part of the pandemic. And that decision was risky and dangerous. It cost lives, for one, especially among Florida's significant elderly population. But also, as it turned out, a lot of people really did not like being stuck in their homes. And DeSantis' laissez-faire approach earned him a lot of political capital. But maybe more importantly, I think this is underappreciated. It also helped to attract a net migration of about 600,000 new residents to Florida from 2020 to 2022, who were 2 times as likely to be Republican voters, according to some estimates. So DeSantis, by taking this stance during COVID, effectively imported a bunch of people who already agreed with him into the Florida voting populace. And that almost certainly helped propel him to his big re-election last year, right? He won by nearly 20 points above his Democratic rival, Charlie Crist, who, let's be honest, was not the strongest candidate. And it was that win, that big resounding win on a bad night for Republicans, that propelled him to the top of the list of presidential contenders. But again, look at that victory in context, right? In the context of all this in-migration of folks that were Republicans, DeSantis' margin of victory was not an outlier in Florida. It was only slightly higher than Marco Rubio's margin over Democrat Val Demings. And remember, Rubio got outspent by nearly $30 million in that race. But nevertheless, DeSantis took his victory as a green light to launch a national presidential primary campaign centered almost exclusively on waging Fox News culture wars. Just this week, he expanded his Don't Say Gay law. So now it's illegal for public school teachers in all grades, right? This was just about the children, right? In all grades, kindergarten through high school, to talk to students about sexual orientation and gender identity. High schoolers, teenage years. Probably a good time to talk about that stuff, right? He's currently at war with Disney because the company publicly stood with its employees against the first version of that law. He's trying to stamp out drag shows by sending undercover agents to scope them out, stripping a Miami hotel of its liquor license because they hosted a show with children present. He's publicly supported the protest of Bud Light that conservatives have lost their minds over for having the infraction a single one sponsored ad with a trans person. That was what they did wrong. He blocked a new AP course in African American studies from being taught in Florida's public schools, while having the state basically outlaw entire lines of academic inquiry at state schools. And all of it done under the cover of his cartoonish war against an imaginary enemy.
So because the woke represents a war on truth, we have no other recourse but to wage a war on woke. We fight the woke in the schools. We fight the woke in the legislature. We fight the woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
I'm sorry. I know he's not trying to be funny, but he sounds ridiculous, okay? First of all, that speech, like, we fight them here, we fight them there, that is him imitating the famous speech by Winston Churchill talking about fighting the Nazis in World War II, okay? Your campaign against Bud Light, buddy, not quite the same thing. The big reason that DeSantis can do all of this is that he has these rubber stamp majorities in both houses of the state legislature, right? But those state Republicans are starting to get frustrated with all of this. Senate President, House Speaker both declined to endorse the governor this week, saying they'll wait to decide. Political reports, one House Republican recently told a former legislator he was ready to resign out of frustration over how the session was going. Another Republican legislator reportedly said in private, quote, "We're not the party of cancel culture. We can't keep doing this tit for tat." I have news for him. DeSantis has been effective in raising his profile and standing among Republicans and conservatives and primary voters, right? But here's a big problem. Ron DeSantis, in case you haven't noticed, is not the only one running for president in the Republican primary. While Ron DeSantis wages a war on woke, Donald Trump is waging a war on Ron DeSantis. And Trump has been pummeling him For weeks, attacking DeSantis on everything from his poll numbers and his support for cutting Social Security and Medicare to getting, quote, outplayed, outsmarted, and embarrassed by Mickey Mouse. A Trump-aligned super PAC even cut an ad mocking DeSantis based on a report that he once ate a cup of chocolate pudding. Yes, that's it there. So gross. Astoundingly gross ad with his fingers. Rolling Stone reports that Trump plotted for weeks to, quote, mind F DeSantis by racking up endorsements from his home state. And it's worked. He has now won over more than half of Florida's Republican congressional delegation who have endorsed him over their governor. Even the congressman holding Ron DeSantis' old seat is going for Trump. And Trump had them all over for dinner last night at Mar-a-Lago, which they then posted about on social media. There you see it. The problem with DeSantis is he's cultivated this image as a tough guy. He's picking fights that conservatives care about, performing dominance politics, telling the woke to get lost. But there's one person he has to pick a fight with, to look tough against. That's Donald Trump. And frankly, he seems afraid of that. Ron DeSantis may have the woke on the run, but Donald Trump is kicking his ass.